What's going on, everybody? Oh, what? Dodge Shopper? See, these are the things that. How in the world? It's not that way somewhere else. That's definitely not what it is. There it is. Odd Shopper. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Live Before
I want
Lock
everybody
show.
to know that we were all hanging out for about 15 minutes on the stream before going live, and Jordan waited until right then to point out that we had the wrong sponsor on the graphics.
That's the kind of production value you get with Jordan Klein here. Expert troll on Twitter decided, Eric looks funny in this picture. Let's tell the people that he just dropped a deuce in the morning. Welcome. I'm Eric Lindquist. I'm a normal person, I promise, kind of. Let's get to it. We got 5 games of MLB. We got 54 minutes left. Hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell. But the guy I'm going to be breaking down everything with, he went dark there for a second. The lights were turning down. It was his big reveal. Mr. FanDuel himself, T. McBee. Go follow him at DigitalB21 on the Twitters. Terry McBride, how you doing, my dude?
Doing pretty good, bud. It's been, like I said earlier, it's, bit of a weird, discombobulated feeling day, but over the last 20 minutes getting ready for the show and everything, I'm kind of getting into gear and starting to feel good here. Got lineups being built and rocking and rolling over here. So it should be a good show. I think it's kind of a weird, interesting slate to dig into. So it should be a fun one.
Yeah, it's fun. This earlier slate, just like everybody expected, the lowest top stack percentage on the board comes to fruition in the Baltimore Orioles. That kind of crap happens when you take Baltimore out of their home ballpark, which is now a cavern. That changed quickly. And you take them into Toronto. Kevin Gausman, those Cy Young odds are going to be dropping tomorrow morning.
I would expect so. Yeah. Is that something that you would maybe consider jumping on if those
I've got my
get a little bit longer?
I got my Severino shares, which apparently now he has COVID. So there you go.
You were on Sevy early, right?
Yeah, I was on Sevy a lot. Just because his pitch count was low, nobody was on him. Greg talked me into it. Greg talks me into doing bad kid things. So it's fine. That's just kind of how it works. We got Jordan Klein behind the scenes, keeping everybody apprised of everything going on. Kind of. Rants, tough MLB card. Yeah, it can be, but we got some value here. Odd Shopper is going to help us find some of that value here in the MLB streets. Let's just get into it, shall we?
Love it.
All right. Like Philadelphia Phillies, Washington Nationals. This is live before lock. We have lock in an hour. We're going to be with you up until 55 before we turn it over to the NBA guys, Greg Adam. And then we got Josh and Laffy, of course, doing the late night hammer, then doing the show afterwards. So make sure you check out all of those. But we're talking baseball. 5.3 implied run total here for the Phillies, 3.7 for the Nationals. And Zach Wheeler, topic of conversation. There is some kind of a storm cell sitting there in Washington right now. We know that they love to pull the trigger on some ridiculous rain from time to time, just phantom rain games, if you will. This might feel like a spot where they would want to do that against Zach Wheeler because otherwise they get to face him, and he's very good at pitching baseballs. How do you feel about Zach Wheeler on today's slate?
You have to love the spot for Wheeler in general. I mean, the price is a little bit high on the FanDuel slate at 10-6, but he's worth that, right? And that keeps a little bit of the field at bay. If he was at that 9,600 on FanDuel, I think he'd be approaching, where we've got him projected for DK ownership, which is around 40% because he's 9,600 over there. Really like the spot on both sites. You're dealing with a little bit of public ownership, but I think it's totally warranted. Nats do get Juan Soto back in the middle of the lineup, so they're, very good at avoiding strikeouts, particularly when Soto is in there, but Wheeler is more than capable of finding strikeouts against this lineup. And what he's definitely capable of is just keeping this lineup down, suppressing run creation, suppressing power. For the season, a 29.2% strikeout rate over 63 and a third. He's sitting at a 0.78% home run rate on 33.3% hard hit, 4.3% barrel rate. Wheeler's a spectacular pitcher, 2.86 xFIP for the season with a 2.84 ERA. So pitching exactly like it seems like he is on the surface, a 109 whip, inducing a 12.9% swing strike rate. There's really nothing not to like outside of maybe a little bit of the popularity that you have to deal with. But I think first off, small slate, only 5 games available. So there's limited pitching available. You just kind of lean toward the chalk. And then this is just a top heavy slate too for pitching where there's only a few key options. They're all going to be popular. So it just kind of makes sense to roll along with the chalk and not get too cute with pitching on this one. There's just not a lot of options.
Yeah, you've got Ohtani garnering all the attention, all the land. And we saw what happens with Kevin Gausman, mega chalk. Ohtani's going to be mega chalk. Wheeler, Kirby, Ashby, everybody pretty tightly grouped here right behind it. If you have the money, you just get up to Wheeler. I love him. Yeah. Without Severino there, a lot of that ownership has gone his direction now. That's what you should expect, but I think it's very, very much warranted against this Washington team that, sure, they get back Juan Soto, but we also just took Severino off the board. So tick for tat, I still just love getting to Zach Wheeler here. Weather be damned, I think it's going to be all right to play some baseball here. But
it looks like it'll be all right. Like you said, it is the Nats, so who the hell knows? They might cancel.
It just puts you on high alert immediately.
Right. Yeah. It's the most concerning situation weather-wise. It's the one that I always get a little bit wary of. But I'm looking at the radar now, and like there's a little bit of radar, a little bit of a blob like southwest of DC. But there's nothing in the forecast. The forecast is partly cloudy to mostly cloudy, back to partly cloudy, and then clear tomorrow morning if you're commuting in the DC area. So seems like it should be fine, but who the hell knows with the Nats? But I don't think it's something we can sweat or really worry about or adjust Wheeler for.
I always drink my coffee while I'm watching radar.
Everyone knows that. Of course,
that was for you. We're coming to desert. We ain't found shit. Patrick Corbin on the other side of this. Spaceballs the flamethrower. The kids will love this one. Patrick Corbin, 542 expected slugging, 17.5% K percentage. He is trash. He is the pontification. He is the definition of gas can at this point in time in his career, which is sad. Once upon a time, it was fun. Now, even on this slate, he is the most positively leveraged pitcher. And I can't do it. Even against lefties, he's getting hit up hard. Just looking at this lineup, I don't know how I get away from playing some Phillies bats. Ownership is the main reason, but Patrick Corbin, you don't have any interest in actually rostering this cat, do you?
No, I left him in the player pool just kind of so I could build enough lineups and have the other guys at the shares kind of where I wanted them. And like, I'll just sacrifice a handful of lineups that need to go to Corbin just to make those numbers work. So he's in there, but if I get any shares of him, I will be very, very surprised. Then I'll probably try and change them at the end of the show. He's just not a pitcher anymore. 17.5% strikeout rate, a 4.32 xFIP is okay. Like that's trending toward bad, but it's still somewhat effective, but a 6.65 ERA, only a 9.2% swinging strike rate, a 26.1% CSW. So he's just not putting the ball in the strike zone, not generating any swinging strike, giving up a ton of quality contact, a 44.3% hard hit with a 10% barrel rate. That's only led to a 2.87% home run rate. So he's actually gotten really lucky with power this year. Last year, he had a 4.93% home run rate on a lot less hard hit, 40.7% hard hit and fewer barrels, 9.2% barrels. So there's more power coming against him here. I would load up on the Phillies other than, like you said, the offense. The guys that I want are all owned into the 30s and 40s. So it's a little bit challenging, but no shares of Corbin here. He's a target for bats.
Yeah, he's a target for bats. So let's do it. Which ones do we want the most from the Philly side?
The ones that everybody has.
Oh, cool. That's great. Ones.
That's
well, Alec Boehm in the 7-hole, just that can always be nice and nifty for me.
Yeah, but it's not that sneaky. 25%.
I know nothing from the Phillies is
on
sneaky.
FanDuel. It's like that's one that I would normally call out and just be like, yeah, let's go to that. I like getting to Boehm, 4 home runs on the season, only creating runs 20% below average, so it's not been great. But there's been some friskiness out of those bottom end spots in this lineup at times when the top end guys are so owned. Today, they're just owned top to bottom. Lowest owned guy on DK is Yairo Munoz in the 9-hole, drawing still 10% ownership at around 2,000.
Whoa, back it up. What did you just say?
Yairo Munoz?
Oh, just rolled off the tongue. Yeah, God. I didn't know we were going to salsa dance tonight, but I'm ready. Yairo Munoz. It was beautiful. Continue on. You beautiful human being.
People are going to him on DK. He's only 4.8% owned on FanDuel, and Matt Vierling above him only 10% owned on FanDuel. And Didi is drawing 10% on FanDuel. So maybe if you're looking for super low on guys to build into stacks, those are your differentiation pieces. But up top, Kyle Schwarber, Rhys Hoskins, Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, JT Realmuto. If you're just drawing 5 and not concerned about ownership, those are your 5. It's nice and straightforward. It's the top 5 in the lineup. Every single one of those guys has a very good chance of hitting a home run off Pat Corbin. Major scoring upside, run creation upside. So really like it outside of the fact that everybody's going there.
Yeah, got Sippy's attention. Yeah, he had my interest, but now he's got my attention.
And your enthusiasm.
And my enthusiasm. There we are. All the Quentin Tarantino quotes. We could do that forever. So yeah, we roster those guys.
It would be funny if I didn't speak at least a little Spanish. I speak pretty crappy broken Spanish. It's not good. It comes and goes with the amount that I use it, but it would be weird if I was just doing this and didn't speak any Spanish.
Free sex, why do Tinder? Malakar coming in with the early guess for the sex bots. I am definitely inducing those bros. They're going to be coming soon. Do bro chill season. Let's go to the other side. I don't really have any Nats exposure. I'm not playing enough lineups today with the NBA, with everything else to really warrant getting too crazy here with a bunch of Nats on the other side. Does anything stick out to you other than, of course, Juan Soto, who you could always play against any good pitcher, but I just don't find a need today.
No, especially not with Wheeler's just acumen for keeping the ball in the yard. 1.88% home run rate last year. Like I said earlier, a 0.78 this year. It's just very difficult to hit a home run against this guy. So not really a lot of compelling reasons to go there. On a small slate, you can grab a few shares, mix them in. They're all very low owned, everybody in the single digits. So if I'm going to it, I'm going to Soto, obviously, Nelson Cruz, maybe some Keibert Ruiz. I don't love Cesar Hernandez, but he's back in the leadoff spot in a strange situation for this team. Josh Bell, certainly as the 5 hitter for a switch hitter, you can grab some of him and hope you get the power packed version of them. So that's really it. It's top 5 for me. Lane Thomas, arguably you could throw in if you want to differentiate a little bit with the 7 hitter, but I don't love this lineup and I definitely don't like the spot going up against Wheeler.
What's with all the weather updates for DC? Because people are concerned about DC. Look at that. We have weather updates. You can literally type in anything you want in chat. Go ahead. I did weather for Antarctica earlier. By the way, it's cold.
Cold.
Weather, Antarctica. Hit send. There we are. It is like freaking -50. It's not enjoyable. I can't imagine that that's something I want to partake in. I don't think they're playing baseball there today.
Probably not. I don't think there's all that many people doing all that much of anything down there today.
All right. Well,
scientists maybe. I think my cousin's been there.
Oh, really? I mean, I want to go just to say that I was there sometime.
I would love to. Yeah, it would be really, really cool to just like, even if it's just, I put a foot on Antarctica, just to put a foot on that continent. Before I die, I'd like to be to every continent.
Yeah, go to like Chile, because I think that's how most people get there. You go to like Patagonia and you work your way down or something like that.
Yep.
Maybe I made that up.
Or if you're my cousin, you're a explorer. He's been to the bottom of the ocean with James Cameron in that Ocean's Aliens of the Deep documentary that he did years ago.
That's sick.
He's been to Antarctica. He's on like the SETI team searching for life on Europa. He's super genius, brilliant guy.
Hardy Van House weather hell. Did you know the driest desert in the world is Antarctica?
That's true.
These are the facts you learned from me. Continuing on, my friends, somewhere they are playing baseball today. Across your house, across your street, I'm assuming, the New York Yankees hosting the Tampa Bay Rays. 4.8 for the Yankees, 3.7. Why is it higher than this morning? Well, Luis Severino got scratched. And now we are looking at Clark Schmidt in a bullpen scenario here for the Yankees. We have Varel Garza today, Jr., 32% K percentage. He's also not going to be pitching that long, I would assume. I mean, that's just not even a real life scenario that we're looking at here. No pitchers here, correct?
Yeah, I don't see any real need to go to the pitchers. You could have gotten away with Schmidt maybe for a few innings on DK if he had come in at 4,000, but he's at 7,600. So there's just no utility there. Boone was out saying earlier he's only getting one time through the lineup. So 3 innings max. I wouldn't expect very much. And
Clark Schmidt, no, we're not doing that. We're looking at Tampa Bay bats, which is something that I didn't consider at any point in time this morning. Obviously, there are no popular pitchers on the other side, but Tampa Bay went from completely off the board to me to obviously being a lot more viable. It's still a difficult Yankees bullpen. I mean, King pitched yesterday. I believe I saw that he was pitching yesterday, and a couple of these other amazing relievers that they have. You have a team that's just loaded and not fair. So that's difficult. But these Rays, completely unowned, 6% ownership share. They obviously might platoon some stuff depending on who's doing what in terms of coming out of the bullpen. But we get like Brujan leading off 2,100. You get Yandy Diaz, who I didn't even think was going to be in the lineup, now batting cleanup. Some interesting ways to be stacking up this Rays team. Do you have any interest today?
I imagine I'll get some. It's not really going to be like a prime target for me, partly because Schmidt is good. So his 3 innings, I expect some pretty good performance. He was a high-end draft pick, has performed reasonably well out of the bullpen. 19.2% strikeout rate isn't great. A 4.87 xFIP, but we're talking about 19 and a third innings. He's a decently highly regarded prospect. So I expect 3 good innings out of him before handing off to, like what you just said, it has been a dynamite bullpen all season long. They've got several arms out there that can go a couple of innings. innings, high leverage, high strikeout type guys who can be converted into that role. So it's not really one of these situations where they're going to be facing a bunch of gas can type, aging veteran. Like when you think of the old days of a bullpen, that's not really what the Yankees have back there. So I'm not really drawn to the Rays that much, but it looks like the field isn't either. The latest ownership update, everybody's still really in the single digits outside of Vidal Brujan up at the top, drawing 15% for 2,100 on the DK slate, 10% on FanDuel at 2,200. Everybody else through that lineup, though, in the mid-single digits. So, yeah, some shares of like a G-Man Choi, Yandy Diaz, Randy Rosarena, Brett Phillips stack I could get into. A little bit of Harold Ramirez around there as well. Ramirez I bring him up a lot. He's a very good contact hitter in terms of his hard hit rate, 46.6% hard hit. He doesn't hit a lot of home runs. He doesn't barrel the ball all that much, but he's very good at putting the ball in play with authority. Only 2 home runs on the year, but creating runs 8% better than average. So he's an interesting stick in the 7 spot there. So yeah, like 1 through 7, I think you can get to this team in varying combinations.
Such a crazy thing to think about how good this Yankees bullpen is and how good it could also be if you had like Zach Britton, if you had Herman's been out for a while, but he's not even a bullpen guy. Obviously, Aroldis Chapman, Chad Green. They have so many dudes. Absurd what they've put together there in New York.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Clay Holmes was what an acquisition he was last year.
He
was so unheralded, and like he's been one of the best moves Cashman's made in quite a while. So I mean, yeah, they uncover these gems out there, and they did the same thing in the starting rotation with Nestor. Now it's been weird. It's been not necessarily the way that they've done things over time, but I've been enjoying the fruits of their efforts.
Oh, no kidding. You don't say. Hey, at least the Minnesota Twins went out and spent some money on Correa. We're trying things. Even if I would rather have Pena now.
Yeah, might want to try signing some more competent starting pitchers than freaking Sonny Gray.
Chris Archer doesn't do it for you? Bailey Ober?
I like Bailey Ober. I actually like the kid.
Don't.
I like Joe Ryan. I like Bailey Ober. I think the kid
should have played basketball. It's a waste. We're going to the Yankees lineup. And 1 through 9, even in the gallo at the bottom. I haven't done that one, but I got the Jordan Clyde perk up. That's what I was going for. 1 through 9, we could definitely roster Yankees. Always going to be one of my favorite stacks to get to on any slate where they're basically flat in leverage. And that's what we have today. What's your interest level in your ball club?
Yeah, definitely want to get there. They're a lot more popular on the FanDuel slate because they've got some fairly low pricing around Rizzo, Stanton, Donaldson. So all those guys are popping into like the 20% range, the high teens range. DJ up at the top of the lineup, 16. Judge the most popular player on both sites, deservedly so. He's at the point where you can just kind of put him in your lineup any given day, and I almost don't care what the ownership is. It's a flawed way to do it, but he's just been raking, and he's just so far out ahead of the rest of the league at this point that he's always worth it. But I do think, if you want to focus on some of the lower owned hitters, you can play on DraftKings where most of those guys are in the just barely over 10 range, or just look toward the bottom of the lineup. Aaron Hicks, Jose Trevino for all his upside so far this season with the 5 home runs, hitting 300, 346, 490 with a 141 WRC plus, and then Joey Gallo and all his power hiding in the 9 hole down there. He's been interesting since they dropped them down to the 9 hole. The bat's come back to life a little bit. When he makes contact, the ball still travels. I know people hate him. I know people don't think he's a good hitter. I disagree with that vehemently. He's still got a 48.9% hard hit percentage, a 19.3% barrel rate. When he makes contact, ball travels. That's all I really care about. I don't care about strikeouts. I care about getting on base and hitting home runs. He has not been good at the latter this season, or at the former this season, 291 on base percentage. That's a lot of why he's suffering. A lot of his former walks have turned into strikeouts this year. He's also been suffering a little bit from, BABIP and the shift and all of that. Walk percentage sitting at 12.8%, still very, very good at getting on base, just not the elevated on base percentage we've seen from him in years past. That is important for him to deliver quality.
Yeah. Not next year.
Not next year when he's.
It sounds like they're going to be. Anymore. It sounds like they're going to get rid of it. I just get the feeling.
I think they're going to move on. For sure. Yeah, if they don't move him at the deadline in some other deal for some other hitter, I don't see a world where they re-sign him, which sucks. Yeah. I had been looking forward to them acquiring him for quite a while, and like I said, I do. I mean, if he comes roaring back, has a monster second half, I see a path to re-signing him. I just don't think it's the most likely scenario.
All right. Well, anything else from this game?
This show brought to you by Sips of Coffee.
Great job by me. Yeah. Looking at my coast, I pulled out my sheet. You know what? I'm going to pull this up. Stochastic Plus. That is what we have. The Platinum past year Stochastic. It's fantastic. You can brush my hair and dress me everywhere. Look at that. Imagination, life is your creation. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Somebody tweeted that at me, and it made me laugh, so I enjoyed it. Guys, this is great name change. We're going to have a lot of fun here at Stochastic, so check out all the great tools and content that we have here using promo code MLB Live, all caps, one word, as we transfer everything from the Awesemo name to the Stochastic name. Nothing has changed. We still have everything you know and love here for the MLB streets, whether it's ownership, whether it's player projections. We have the top stacks tool, the top pitchers tool. Nothing has changed in terms of the data. We also have Odd Shopper in conjunction to help you with all your sports betting. We'll talk about here in a second, but if you guys want all the great features, use promo code MLB Live to get everything behind the paywall, not just for MLB, but for NBA. Game 6 coming up here in T-minus 3 hours. It's going to be an awesome, awesome time. That atmosphere in Boston should be electric. If you're going to be playing some DFS, why not get the best tools and content to help you be equipped for that showdown game? Also, US Open, we're going to have showdown coverage. Some of these projections are just fantastic. I've just plugged and played a couple of days where I just pull up the projections for showdown and manually input a couple of things, and I'm set to go. And I have some positive EV lineups. I think you guys can all do the same here. So check out all of our great features. Stop guessing, start winning, and join us at Stochastic today. All righty. What do we got? 3 more games. Milwaukee Brewers. This is what I really want to talk about with you, because for the Milwaukee Brewers, 3.8 implied runs totals, they've got Aaron Ashby on the bump. And I love this kid. He's got some filthy sinker stuff that apparently can miss bats, even though he only missed 2 of them last game against the Nationals. That was unenjoyable. But I think I got to go back to the well. Have you seen this Mets lineup?
Looking at it now. Connor, Nimmo, Lindor, Alonso, McNeil, JD Davis, Guillorme, Nito, Plummer.
Yeah, the back half, you don't have Starling Marte, and you have a back half of the lineup that truly, I think you and I could probably keep in the yard. How do you feel about Aaron Ashby on today's slate?
Yeah, I like him. I accidentally overlooked him in my article when I was writing it up. Granted, we still had Severino on the slate, so there were a few other pitchers to juggle around. But anybody who read my article, that was an oversight on my part. So I do like Ashby today. 15% ownership on FanDuel, I think, is perfectly playable and fine. 27.7% strikeout rate over 50 and 2/3, 7 starts in there, allowing only a 30.4% hard hit, a 3.6% barrel, 2.23% home run rate. Like you said, there's a weak back end to this lineup. Everybody knows I'm not the biggest JD Davis fan, and Jeff McNeil fan. And he's kind of a slap hitter in the middle of that lineup anyway. So there's another threat for power kind of gone. 4 home runs on the season, fine, but only a 136 ISO. JD Davis does have pop, but he's only hit 2 home runs and only sitting at a 118 ISO this season. Is sitting at a 62.7% hard hit rate and a 13.3% barrel rate. Those 2 facts don't add up together. So there's a collision of data there. I expect eventually JD Davis will start to hit some home runs, but as he's done right now, he hasn't really been a power threat. So really you're dealing with the top end there. Maybe Davis this is his day and he connects, but it's really kind of a 4-hitter lineup to me in the very top here. So I'm not that worried about the Mets. I like the Ashby upside. 7,100 is too cheap for his strikeout rate on the DK slate. 8,200 is a good price for him on FanDuel. Projects out pretty nicely for me. I'll definitely have some shares.
Look at that. I love it. Yeah, Ashby, when I saw this lineup, immediately felt vomit. And so I was like, all right, well, guess we're going to roster a ton of Ashby. I was kind of already planning on doing it, and no Marte is okay.
To be fair, Guillorme is having a nice season. 137 plate appearances. It's not a gigantic season so far this year yet, but slashing 316, 407, 385, creating runs 37% better than average. That's nothing to sneeze at over 137 plate appearances.
It's true.
He's decent.
He's a good guy to get. Yeah. Oh God, he just can't make. Right. This is my thing when it comes to like the profile of a player long term. It's really hard to overcome hitting the ball softly.
And he's got a 26.2% hard hit percentage and a 2.9% barrel rate too.
Because I took a long look, a long look at him. I don't know why I just went into child speaking, but I took a long look at him. He was like a throwaway piece of a trade I was trying to make happen. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I really don't think I have utility for him, because I don't want him to just crash my home run numbers and crash a lot of, there's just no extra base upside with the guy ever. If he gets on, he can steal some.
And correlated scoring. That's really all we're looking at.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So glad that you said it, not me. The Milwaukee side going up against Tyler McGill, who generally would be a really good play, but he's getting a tiny bit of ownership, and I just don't know what the pitch count's going to look like. The one thing you can say is it's only a 5-game slate. And, out of the 10 pitchers, really only 7 or 8 of them are even close to viable because you have a bullpen situation in Tampa Bay and New York. How do you feel about Tyler McGill as a very contrarian type play compared to some of the top end guys?
He's, the pitch count is where I question it, right? 64 the last time out, 54 before that. And before that, we're talking about May 11th. The last start was June 10th, 64. Then it was back in May. So it's been, kind of on and off at the major league level as far as how deep they're letting him go into games. Earlier in the season, he was getting into the 80s and 90s. If we're getting that version of him, 8,600 on DK, I think there's at least some utility. 25.6% strikeout rate this year is very nice. A 3.19 xFIP. A 4.50 ERA, but I'm not as into that as I'm into the 3.19 xFIP. I think that's telling us what the truth of the matter is. Decent at keeping the ball in the yard, 3.13% home run rate this year, only a 34.3% hard hit. Last year, the strikeouts were similar. He gave up more power, more home runs, more hard hit, had a worse xFIP, similar-ish ERA. So I think he's a talented kid. I just, on FanDuel, the $9,200 price, there might be better ways to spend that money. Like if I'm going to that, I probably would just rather grab some shares of George Kirby for 200 more and then figure out, what I'm doing with bats or whatever. 6.1% ownership though is somewhat appealing. I'm just questioning if I'm buying 65 pitches for $9,200 on FanDuel. That's a little bit rough. I get it more on DK where he's 86, works where you need the 2 pitchers, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, it would be more of a DK play. I do think he's on the board to a degree though.
Yeah, he's on the board to a degree because if other pitchers around him fail, if he can rack up some strikeouts, which there are definitely a few that can be had, even at the top of the order. Yelich, 25% K percentage on the season. Renfroe, 25. Adames now back in the mix, which I always think is an upgrade in terms of a pitcher's strikeout profile. 27% K percentage on the season. He's always been a strikeout guy going back to Tampa Bay. I think it's serviceable enough. This morning, I was pretty much vehemently against it, but then you take Severino off the board, and it just becomes one less guy that McGill would have to compete with. If Kirby has a rough outing, if anybody cheaper has a rough outing, you are going to be very different. And we project him at 17.5%. I do think most people are in the camp like you, like me, like most people who do this day in, day out, where we say his pitch count is not high enough. Well, that would be very true on a 15-game slate. This is not that.
Yeah, this is easily one of those days, or easily could be one of those days where it's just grabbing shares of a bunch of different guys and a handful of points is going to be enough from an SP2 on DK. It's very much shaped up like that, unless you're doing the double, big pay up, double star pitchers and cheap bats. I really do think that that you're going to get that kind of an afternoon or that kind of an evening rather, where just a handful of points, a decent score is going to be fine. And McGill's capable of giving you that over. If he gets 5 innings, he's capable of giving you enough strikeouts to do that.
Did you just try to do weather DBC? Obi-Wan, that is fantastic. Dude, bro, chill city needs to be a thing. Like I'm here for dude, bro, chill city. Can we build that? Like, bro, dude, chill. Can we like bro out and do that?
Why does that sound like that just sounds like an NFT to me.
No, it sounds like Jordan
Dropping
every time
Monday,
he opens his mouth.
Dude, bro, chill city.
Dude, bro, chill. Take me down to the dude, bro, chill city where the grass is green. Something like that.
Yeah, you kind of crammed in a few too many syllables there, I think, on the dude, bro, chill versus Paradise.
We need to figure it out. Just here for the nips. What?
Whoa, hey, all right.
Hey, sex bot season. All right. We've got anything else from this game? Because like for me, the Mets lineup, you talked about the top end of that one, Milwaukee. At the same time, McGill's not going to go very far, but then this Mets bullpen is really not something. If this were the year 2021, maybe, but not for me today.
For the Mets lineup?
Yeah. No. For the Milwaukee bats going up against primarily the Mets bullpen. If McGill doesn't go very far in this, I don't really want to do it.
I can take some shares of like Yelich, Adames, Rowdy, maybe some Andrew McCutchen, Hunter Renfroe in there. There's Luis Urias as well in the cleanup spot there. Okay. It's not a major target for me, but there's not really a lot of ownership. Only Yelich drawing over 10% on DK, Yelich and Willie drawing over 10% on FanDuel. But getting to Rowdy in this matchup at 7.5% ownership on both sites, I can do that. 2,900 on the FanDuel slate. I get a decent little home run mark on them. So I'll take some shots at the Brewers here, I would think. All
right, we got 2 games to go. Everybody hit that like button here for Stokastic.com. That is what we are here for. Hit that damn like button for my dude, Terry McBride. What was that?
I said only 2 more games. Can we go around again when we're done?
No, well, I mean, around and around and around. No, this is not meatspin.com. We're not going around and around over again. God, you remember those days in college? Well, it's the weirdest place. Don't go there. I did not recommend it at all. Awkward. But 2 games left to go. We shall breeze through it. We'll be able to recap as we talk and get our lineups in. I want to double back and double check some of the weather in Washington as well, which obviously everybody knows. Weather Lindquist pants? What is happening? Weather Jane Money? Yeah. What have you done, Jordan Klein? God, I can't even pay attention to anything. We built this city on Dude Bro Chill. We built this city on Dude Bro Chill. There it is. Dun, 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 dun. Listen to the radio. That was the winner out of anybody's comments. Rhett Kramer, I've never seen you in chat before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you came from the clouds and you made my day. So
that's a dynamite debut by Rhett Kramer.
Oh, Rhett Kramer, honestly, ascending to the top of the YouTube chat power rankings board. Oh, no kidding. Texas Rangers. Oh, we should do this first, actually, because I mean, it's Odd Shopper. Oddshopper.com. This is where you want to go to make bets, positive EV bets. They are excellent. Made a couple this morning with Greg Ehrenberg. Hopefully, you jumped on the Zach Wheeler train. And if not, there's still a place reserved right next to us here. Getting to some Zach Wheeler plus the NBA streets. Oh boy, we've got some positive EV bets looking at Derek White, Steph Curry, a couple of those at the top of the board. All you have to do is sign up using any email address on planet Earth, and you can play and get all these great props.
It actually goes to you.
Well, preferably. But yeah. if you want to send it to your mom,
don't use
ahead.
Biden at whitehouse.gov. It probably won't work.
I don't know. My mom put in a bunch of golf bets. She was just loving her life. Xander Schauffele, he didn't even play that well, but she just refused not to play him. It's weird.
My biggest problem with PGA DFS is that I always forget because it starts at 6:00 in the damn morning on a Thursday, and I did it again.
Oh, 6 a.m. I'm so sorry. Oh, have you tried 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. on the West Coast?
That would work for me. I'm awake at 3 a.m. That would be fine.
Why are you like a teenage girl texting her girlfriends at like? I imagine they're the ones who are up till 3 a.m.
You don't spend a lot of time up at 3 a.m., do you?
I really don't. I used to. When I first started here, I was up writing articles, burning the midnight oil, trying to make a name for myself, and still haven't. But we're trying. Go to oddshopper.com, everybody. Sign up. Is there any bet that you see on the board today? Again, over 5.5 for Zach Wheeler. In your words, dynamite play.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty killer one. Let me jump over to
killer. That's the other one you have.
Little props tool. Well, you said dynamite, so I had to go
that's
a different
yours.
direction.
So I guess there are more than one words to say great, I suppose.
We love synonyms here at Stochastic.
Yeah, Terry, why are you up so late? Why are you a vampire? Oh, is it because you have to count your FanDuel winnings every night? You have to
have you guys been staring at this pale complexion all this time and assuming I wasn't a vampire? I mean, come on. Yeah, I'm just, I'm up.
Can you say Ramuños like a vampire, but with the roll? Can you do it?
Ramuños.
There it is. See? What? Oh, we're having fun today. Smash the like button and please give the people a bet because that's what they want.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Eric is lame compared to Terry. I'm aware, guitar man. I'm aware.
What about Ashby's strikeout? 5 is also sitting at 5.5. I was looking at the over for that one, a little bit below where Wheeler comes in on the expected win, but still looking at a 62%er. We've got him projected at 6.3 at the site. I think I actually have him a little bit higher than that. I can pull it up on my model here and jump over, see if we can get a little bit more confidence. Yeah, I got him. I've got him up at 6.7 as a projected, 6.99 implied, and then my model doesn't implied and a projected, so 6.73 projected. So I like that one quite a bit.
All right. I'm here for Ashby. I'm here for Wheeler. I'm actually going to put those together over on prizepicks.com as well. Use promo code Awesemo. It's still promo code Awesemo over there for the time being. Oh my God. He's down to 5. 5 is his strikeout prop over on Prize Picks right now. What?
That is one to jump on.
I might do something.
If our pals at Prize Picks and anybody who can affect change over there is listening, please get yourselves verified in New Jersey so that I can play on your site, because I resent all of my friends from the site and all of our customers making money on our great sponsor Prize Picks' site when I can't.
This is going to be a fun night. All right, we continue on. 2 games to go, 20 minutes. I think we'll make it, fam. I think we'll make it. Texas Rangers 4.7 implied total going into Detroit. It is hot. It is humid. But guess what? Apparently Martin Perez is good at pitching now, which is news to me. I'm sure it's news to you, but it's been a crazy year. The guy is limiting hard contact. He's walking nobody. He's still striking out nobody at a 20% clip, but like we're talking FanDuel, maybe he's viable. I mean, he is on this string of quality starts that, I mean, if you had told me Martin Perez would be coming on the heels of he had 5 last time out, got completely lit up, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 consecutive quality starts until that White Sox appearance, I would have thought you were insane. Is Martin Perez a guy at 10-5? Yes, you heard me. 10-5 that you might get shares of against this abysmal Detroit team.
I assume so. I mean, he was in the player pool. He was certainly coming up in the lineup builds that I was running. So it's not going to surprise me when I run this sort that I'm just dropping lineups into now, when he is one of the fairly popular pitchers in the lineups that I end up entering. It's not something I'm really happy about. It's not something that I totally believe in. I think, a lot of what we've seen so far in terms of the quality is kind of bogus. A 3.68 xFIP already is starting to betray the 2.18 ERA if we're looking at that. 3.2% barrel rate and a 0.67% home run rate. That's ridiculous. That's better than Zach Wheeler's home run rate. The hard hit is kind of there, 36.1% hard hit. So he's getting a little bit of hard hit. That's still very, very good. But the lack of barrels against him is just astounding. Keeping the ball down, 7.5 degree average, launch angle, 88.6 miles an hour average, exit velo. Like you said, not really generating any strikeouts, not really generating much swing and miss, 8.7% swinging strike rate. That's below average. There's a lot of contact here. He's just kept the ball in the park and not been Martin Perez like all year long. And I don't really understand it. I don't really want to pay 10-5 for it, but neither does the field. And that's kind of where I'm going to get to him, is the 8.6% ownership, I think, is the key attribute here. At 10-5, the public is more uncomfortable playing him than I am. And I'm always willing to embrace those situations where even if I don't like it, I'm going to take it because it looks like a good spot and it's something that makes the public uncomfortable. So that creates a good DFS opportunity for us. So yeah, he's on the board. He's going to be in my lineups.
And on the other side of this one, Bo Brisky, go Tigers. A little bit of that. We've got Coach O. Hey, I'm Coach O. Oh, you get on my back, kids. Hey, you always on that cigar, boy. Bo Brisky.
Water boy, is that what that was?
No, it's Coach O from LSU, who's now not at LSU.
A real human.
Hey, go easy on that cigar, boy. That's what he sounds like.
It's all Louisiana, like Cajun. Yeah.
Bo Brisky, we ain't rostering him, right?
No, God, no. First thing I said in chat when I pulled up YouTube before, somebody was saying, yeah, this Brisky guy looks kind of good as SP2 on DK. Even at 5,900, just don't do it. 15.3% strikeout rate. He's just a target. 43.6% hard hit at 12.8% barrel rate on a 15.5 degree average launch angle, giving up a 5.94% home run rate over 47 2/3. Not a major league caliber pitcher. The Rangers are exploding through the top of my power index, my home run model. Every single hitter in the Rangers lineup is over a 10, over the magic number in my home run model, including Leody Taveras at the bottom of the lineup, who has a 25% hard hit and a 0.0% barrel rate and no home runs this year. So yeah, this kid is just a big flashing hit me hard sign.
That's very vivid. I like the imagery. I'm here for it. That's the kind of shit that Terry McBride, you're the best. Here we go. We go to the Texas bats. We got to talk about them because they're very, very popular, extremely popular. I will say, I like Philadelphia more than I like Texas. It shouldn't be that hard. But as you said, he's a big hit me sign. We get some lefty power in Seager. We get some guys that, it's obviously a hot, muggy day there in Detroit. And I think you can talk me into just about anybody except for this Taveras character at the back half of the lineup. Remove from pool. What sticks out to you from Texas specifically? And how do you compare them to Philadelphia, considering they're by far the 2 most popular offenses on the board today?
Well, starting from the bottom of the lineup, this Leody Taveras kid is fantastic. No, I'm just kidding. I agree with you.
Lost my mind.
You can skip over Leody. I said, 25% hard hit over his. It's only 10 plate appearances, so it's not really anything to point at. But he was similarly low hard hit rate last year. 185 plate appearances, slashed 161, 207, 270. Created runs 71% worse than average. So yeah, you can kind of cross off Leody. He does have a ton of speed. If he gets on base, he might steal a couple bases tonight and find points that way. Correlate with other guys, but he's just not a key piece of the puzzle here. Everybody else is way more popular, but they're less popular than the Phillies are. I agree. In a pure vacuum, I would rather go to the Phillies lineup. I think it's a better lineup. You're getting better, 1 through 7 across the board, 1 through 8 across the board, really, but they're much higher owned. There's a couple spots in this lineup, particularly on DK, that I really like for a lack of popularity, like Cole Calhoun, 3,900 hitting cleanup in this lineup against this pitcher, only drawing 12.3% ownership on DK. That doesn't make sense to me. 47.5% hard hit rate, 12.1% barrel, 7 home runs this year, and a guy who just has historically mashed bad right-handed pitching from the left side of the plate. So I really like Cole Calhoun. I think you can get away with Nate Lowe in the 6th spot. Ezekiel Duran is very interesting to me in the 7th spot. Brad Miller hitting 8th is basically platoon specialist this year. He's also got 7 home runs. He's at a low point, 37.6% hard hit and an 8.6% barrel this year for Brad Miller. The last 3 straight years, he was, I did the averages in my column. I wrote up the ranges in my column today, but his 3-year average was like a 43% hard hit rate and a 13% barrel rate. Brad Miller is a very good hitter of baseballs when he makes contact. He's just, kind of specializes in it at this point in his career, doing it from the left side against bad righties. This is a great spot for him. He's drawing 18% on DK, 15% on FanDuel for $2,500 price tag. So yeah, 1 through 8, you can combine this team in a lot of different ways. And there are spots of low popularity, like Jonah Heim, if you wanted to go to him on FanDuel, 6.4% owned. He's a catcher, but who really cares what position he plays? He's got a decent bat. He's got 7 home runs on the year. He's hitting 5th in the middle of this lineup for 2,600 and only 6% of the field going to him when the 4 hitters above him are owned between 35 and 20%. Like, that's just weird that people are just skipping him because he's a catcher. If he played first base, they'd be going to him more often in the exact same spot in their FanDuel lineups. It's just a little weird.
I'll play him on DK.
Yeah, on DK, he's drawing a little bit of popularity, 20% over there because he's a catcher and you actually need catchers. So I just think it's interesting on FanDuel that everybody just skips him because you don't need a catcher, but you can still use him, and he's still a very capable bat at low single-digit ownership against this pitcher. I like that spot a lot.
You ever listen to the band Heim?
No, can't say that I have.
It's like the 3 girls. And then one of them, she's the one in that the new Paul Thomas Anderson flick. What is that? Licorice? Black licorice?
Licorice Pizza?
Licorice Pizza. There it is. Thank you.
Haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I heard it's fantastic. But Heim.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, she's like the lead singer from that girl group. It's like a bunch of sisters. Wonder if Jonah Heim's related. I doubt it. That'd be too cool.
Don't know. Would it?
I think it would be cool. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
It's like, I'm pretty sure, I didn't even Google it, but I'm pretty sure Smith and Jigba, the guy who got called up from Pittsburgh, he has to be related to that wide receiver from Ohio State, right?
I wasn't aware of the wide receiver from Ohio State. And I mean, in other parts of the world, that might be a super popular name. So I'll reserve judgment, but it sounds like a pretty good theory. It's Smith
and Jigba, and he's got to be related. It's Jackson Smith and Jigba. That's a Nigerian, and then Smith and Jigba Pirates. I have to know now because I've been thinking about this. Do we have any cool information about it? Somebody do the work and find out for me. Somebody got it out there in Google. If I wasn't on the show, I'd be Googling it. Oh, Heim is spelled differently. It's Haim as opposed to Heim. That's the saddest moment of the show. Let's talk Detroit bats. So Martin Perez, what's the word? Oh yeah, he generally sucks. Like he generally has until the year of our Lord 2022. But here we are talking about maybe rostering this fool at 9K on DraftKings and 10-5 on FanDuel. Oh God. But Detroit, I mean, you couldn't ask for a worse offense, but if you're going to have to roster them, you might as well do it against a lefty. Martin Perez just came off an outing where he kind of regressed to the mean. Is Detroit serviceable in lineups today? I'll let you be the judge because I don't want to say yes or no. I mean, no, but yeah, like everything you said is not wrong. That's kind of how I felt. Right. Everything you said is not wrong, but this is a
god-awful baseball team. You're looking at an active roster with a 0.08 ISO against left-handed pitching that ranks 30th in baseball, a 0.73% home run rate that ranks 30th against left-handed pitching in baseball, an 84 WRC plus that ranks 29th. They strike out at a 19th ranked 22.2% in the split against lefties. They're just bad against both hands. If you want to grab some of the, Javi Baez, obviously from the right side of the plate, is still a decent bat, but he's only got 3 home runs. He's slashing 188, 232, 288. So is he a decent bat anymore? I'm not sure, but 15% of the field is going there on DK. 25% of the field is going there on FanDuel. I just don't want to be there if everybody's going to it. If Javi was owned in the single digits, and then I could put him together with like a Miguel Cabrera, Robbie Grossman, maybe. There's just not a lot of names that I like. Maybe like Jonathan Scope and Spencer Torkelson at the similarly all single digits ownership, then maybe. But just getting that 15% on the one guy that I do think is still a decent bat, despite the numbers in the middle of that lineup, it's just not that appealing to me here. So you can do it. You're also not attacking a massive chunk of the field by doing that. You're not getting that key leverage situation where, like, if Perez was owned by 40% of the field because he was cheap, that would be a different story. Then you'd be attacking all that ownership in addition to going to the contrarian bats. Just grabbing the bats to be different because they're somewhat low owned, it's kind of ineffective here with this team. Could they go off and score 10 runs against Martin Perez? Absolutely, of course. Will they? It seems pretty unlikely to me.
Do you remember when Eric Haas was like a god?
Yes, for a couple of weeks there. Yeah.
Yeah. 2019, it looks like. 29. No, he got traded from Cleveland. It was 2020.
20? Yes.
609 expected, or 609 slugging in AAA, followed by a 459 slugging. I mean, that's good for Detroit. 100 WRC plus, down to a 50 WRC plus this season. Makes me kind of sad.
Last year. 22 home runs in the majors last year. That's what
Team Eric.
So that was, I was going to make the crack that Luke Voigt also hit 20 something home runs in 2020 when I thought it was 2020, but that's, kind of a Voidian kind of a number, 31% strikeout rate with his 22 home runs and 381 plate appearances in 2021 last year. Nice 228 ISO, 231, 286, 459 triple slash. He's not a great hitter, but he does have power in the right situation. But dropping down to the 9 spot to get a 7.6% owned catcher on the chance that he's going to hit a home run off Martin Perez, we're getting awfully thin with our probabilities once we're going to that spot.
Oh boy, yeah, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. Oh yeah, you should probably do that. We have 8 minutes to go. We only have one more game. You're going to have 10 minutes. You're going to have a 10-minute buffer.
Yeah, and they're all in the sort. They're all ready to go here. I just got to change some stuff around so that I don't end up with 90.67% of Aaron Ashby. I don't think I want him quite that much.
Oh, okay. Well, I do. Sirius Jones, Cannon Smith and Jigba is Jackson Smith and Jigba's big brother. Thank you.
There you go.
That is what I needed. I just needed that.
A valid theory.
I mean, that's not a common name. And I respect what you did in making sure that we were correct, but like there was no doubt in my mind that they had to be related. That's a cool coincidence, but not coincidence because it's fact. Guys, smash the like button. That goes a long way for Terry and I doing the pregame show here for the NBA Deeper Dive, NBA Live Before Lock. Let's be serious. We all want to watch some hoops tonight. Hang out with Greg and Adam, then hang out with Lofty and Josh. Jordan Klein sticking around producing 3 straight hours of content. What a stud. Look how excited he is. He's so happy. Good morning. Is he left? Is he with us? Oh, there he is. Hi, beautiful.
He's got to get a nap in before he breaks out the bottle on the show later on.
Oh, yeah.
You going to be on, Jordan?
Dude, bro, chill.
Want her.
Dude, bro, chill season. Dude, bro, chill like.
I think the people want it. I think the people are going to demand it.
All right. But then don't forget to hang out.
What do we need? Like 200 likes on this show before Jordan has to join the playback stream?
Ooh, 250, and we put him on playback today.
There you go. I like it.
Taking a shot on playback today for over 250 likes. Booked. I hit with the gavel. That makes it law.
That means he has to do it.
Has to do it. But hang out at playback for the NBA watch along. Lofty and Josh going to be doing that for you guys starting at tip off. Sign up with an account, link your streaming. Super easy to do. All right, one game to go and kind of a biggie because there's a pitcher people might want to get to. I've seen him in person now. He's large. He's gorgeous. He is Shohei Ohtani, 31.7% K percentage going up against these Mariners. There's no way I'm not going to have exposure, but how much Ohtani is too much Ohtani for you today, my friend?
He's pulling like 30% on FanDuel for 10-2, 50% on DK for 8-2, which is just a ridiculously broken price. I think the ownership on FanDuel is about right in that 30% range. I would be below that. Like I'll probably end up 20-ish, 25-ish. Short slate, not a lot of pitching options. On a bigger slate, I'd be even thinner than that and further behind the field. But I do think, that's just for me, so I can grab a few out of the shares of other guys like Kirby and some other pitchers. But I do think he's in a primo spot here. Certainly some strikeouts, certainly some opportunity to suppress this lineup. 31.7% strikeout rate on the season over 54 and a third, 2.82 xFIP, pitching to a 3.64 ERA, little bit of surprisingly high home run rate, 3.57% home run rate on the back of a 37.4 hard hit, 9.4% barrels. I expect that'll probably come down. He's just too good a quality pitcher. But even if he's giving up a little bit of home run power, it's like a Garrett Cole problem where you just don't really care if he gives up one home run a game and makes one or two mistakes. He's just that good, and he can clean a lot of it up with the strikeouts. So I think he's in a spectacular spot. The DK ownership I wrestle with, I never like to have a pitcher at 53%, somewhere around there. But again, short slate, limited options at pitcher, and he's so mispriced that I think it's just probably worth going to roster him around the field. I don't think you're making a mistake. If it's me, I'm probably, again, shaving off a few shares to spread around, but there's not even a lot of like good DK value pitchers to spread those shares around to today. So you don't really need to worry about it that much. And Kirby on the other side at 6,500 is pulling 37% ownership. So even if you're peeling shares away to give from Ohtani to give to Kirby, it's not like you're getting all that different by doing that. So you don't really need to do it. So I think you can easily get away with putting him in half your lineups.
All right. Well, I'm going to be doing that then because he's the pitcher that you just really can't miss with on the board today. I just damned him to hell there. But how about George Kirby on the other side? Because this is a pitcher pulling a ton of ownership. 34.5% for the DraftKings slate. Over on FanDuel, though, if you're going to be paying up for bats, which, obviously makes sense, Philadelphia expensive, some of these Angels bats, even if you want to get some, that makes no sense because you're not going to roster him against him, but George Kirby's 9,400 over there and has some positive leverage. I like him more than I like the leverage of Patrick Corbin. Martin Perez, we've talked about a little bit, and Bo Brisky, I would rather punch myself in the face than roster him. How do you feel about George Kirby in this spot?
Yeah, it's a spot I'm going to be going to. I was just actually giving him a little nudge to make sure that I'm getting to as much as I want to. I'm kind of surprised that our 15% ownership projection, I kind of expect it to be maybe a little bit below that. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. The site usually proves me wrong with the ownership projections. That feels like it's a little high for him at 9,400. I think the 37% is probably dead on at 6,500 on DK. That's a great price to get to him. Very talented young pitcher, 3.50 xFIP. The strikeouts are down only at 22.7% strikeout rate, but I think as he finds himself, he'll find more strikeouts. 10.3% swing strike rate is pretty good. 2.6% walk rate is stellar. The problems come around a little bit of hard hit, a little bit of barrel. So 43.9% hard hit, 10.5% barrel, a 4.55% home run rate. He's definitely got to worry about Trout, Ohtani, maybe Jared Walsh in that lineup, maybe Max Stassi. Everybody else in that lineup, he's not really going to be sweating the home run balls all that much, the contact all that much. Oh, excuse me, Taylor Ward if he's in the lineup as well, up at the top. I'm not that worried about Kirby here. He might get dinged for a couple long balls and cough up a few runs and not have a great start for us. But I think there's plenty of strikeout upside. The Angels 29th in baseball with a 26% strikeout rate against right-handed pitching. They get a ton of power. They're third in ISO, third in home run rate in the split, and they create runs 14% better than average. So there is the chance, like I said, that he's going to get a couple hard hit balls against him and get blown up. But I think he's worth getting to some shares here. I just wish a little bit less of the field was doing it. Agreed.
All right. Anything from bats here to kind of wrap up the show? How are you doing with your lineups?
I'm fine. I can figure it out in the last couple
All right. Yeah, we'll just round it out here with bats.
Yeah. So, I mean, on the Angels side, the names are pretty obvious with Trout and Ohtani there.
They seem okay.
Yeah, they're kind of good at this game. No Ohtani in the lineup though, because he's pitching, so you don't get him as a hitter.
Yeah, yes, he's you can't roster him, but yeah,
you can't roster him. He's in the batting order, but you can't roster him for DFS purposes.
Never fun.
What that creates is there's potential for run creation from him that correlates to hitters that we can roster, like Taylor Ward, Mike Trout. He could create a run for Jared Walsh if he's on base when Jared Walsh hits a home run, but we can't capitalize on his scoring. So that dings the stack to me a little bit, but I do still think you can roster Ward, Trout, Walsh, Stassi, maybe some Brandon Marsh. I just hate the bottom end, the Rengifo, Velasquez, Tyler Wade. I don't think there's much there at all. And I like teams where I can get at least a 7 hitter, maybe if not an 8 and a 9 hitter with it. So I don't love the bottom end, don't love the no Ohtani, but you can grab some shares of the middle and the top.
Oh, just as we get out of here, our first sex bot experience of the day, just try this cheapest sex Tinder. That is an impossible to land on. That is like as impossible as it gets. That's like, no, it's just random rambling thoughts. It's not even a coherent sentence. I award you no points and may God have mercy on your soul, sex bots. Anyway, Terry, this is a fantastic show. Just a recap for the people. 2 favorite pitchers to get to, 2 favorite stacks to get to.
Being obvious about it, Ashby and Wheeler up at the top as far as the pitchers, I think make a ton of sense. And then, Kirby, I think is a little bit interesting as a positively leveraged option who's still drawing a ton of ownership. Stacks wise, the Phillies and the Rangers, they're both drawing a massive amount of ownership though. So you can get different around some of the other teams, like maybe the Yankees, a little bit interesting to get different with.
Mike Trout owns T-Mobile Park. Thanks, Sean V, for the observations. He owns a lot of ballparks. Just throwing it out there. Thank you so much.
Good at this.
Yeah, Jordan Klein, I'm still mad at you about that picture and whatever else. But T McBee, any final words for the people as we get out of here?
Good luck out there, gang. We'll see you tomorrow or sometime soon.
All right, check out the NBA stream. Get out of here. Go that way. Good luck tonight. See you later.